This is a Hummer H2 2003, which is for sale in an auction. When you're buying a car, you need to check the exterior condition, the engine condition, the interior condition, make a test drive if it's possible, and finally check the mileage. So I made a smart chart to make sure we don't forget to look for anything. So, first of all, the paint job. You're looking for inconsistency in the paint job. Panels that seems to be lighter or stronger in color than the rest of the car. Luckily, there is a very accurate small cheap device called paint thickness gauge. It measures how thick the paint is. In this case, you can clearly see over here the paint is fainting. At some point, that part may have been damaged and basically repainted. Body condition. As always, this should be the most obvious part. Walk around the car, look for any dings, broken parts, scratches, rust, anything unusual. Now, in this case, all around the car you can clearly notice multiple rusted parts, like rear hatch, side footstep, front heavy black bumper. You know why I like this Hummer very much? Well, because you can actually check on almost all mechanical components without lifting the car up. So this part from the smart chart is Hummer exclusive. Mechanical component. This Hummer features very easy access to components such as front axles, bowl joints, lower tables, and even if you're not a mechanical expert, you can still look for anything unusual. If anything is torn, broken, rusted, and if you do not really know what you're doing, don't forget to compare the components on the right side with those on the left side. They should always look the same. Here, while I was looking around for overall mechanical component condition, I noticed one of what may be an ABS brake oil tube which appears to have been cut and pinched. This indicates that there might be a problem with the overall braking system. In fact, I do not know if it's related in any way, but I found out on this car that the brake pressure is too low. Wheels and tires. First of all, look and see if all four tires are the same make and model. Then, usually you would take a simple penny and insert it in between the tire tread to get kind of a rough estimation on how deep they are. But in this case, you don't really need to do that. The tire treads are very thick. Finally, check the rims for scratches, pothole damage, and fat paint. Headlamps and all lights. Check if the headlamps are becoming blurred and yellow. This is common with non-UV treated transparent plastic. With time and sunshine, they slowly degrade. This means either the car was sitting too long facing the sun, or the car has simply spent most of its life on the road. This is why sometimes yellow blurred headlamp can give you a rough estimation on the actual mileage. Try and feel with your hand if the headlamps are smooth or rough. Usually people try and sand them when they become yellow blurred. It should be silky smooth. Sunroof. At this stage of the investigation, you simply want to verify that all windows are closed tight and properly. engine. This is a nice big block 6.2 liter V8 engine. So start it up and listen. Ideally, a cold start is the best way for checking an engine. If it's too rough, you know it's usually packing a good weight of mileage. Exhaust gas color. Check the colored gas coming out of the exhaust. Is there any oil as well? Speaking of gas, there is steam coming out from the engine bay. That's obviously not a good sign, and I have no idea where it's coming from. Oil leaks. While the engine is running, check for any oil leak under engine bay. In this case, you might not be able to notice it through your screen, but there is in fact oil leaking on the floor. Then, take out the dipstick, check the oil level and try to smell it. It will give you an idea on the oil condition. Good brand new oil should not be unpleasant to smell. Do the same thing with the transmission dipstick, especially if the car is more than 7 years old and equipped with an automatic transmission. I simply know that by experience. The bad news is that recent cars aren't coming with dipsticks anymore. So you can't smell anything, but you usually should still be able to access oil level by the inboard computer. Rusted engine parts. Check for rusted engine parts usually when a car is not driven for so long, either because it has been into an accident waiting to be repaired, or because it's simply not being driven enough. Some parts as well as engine parts tend to accumulate surface rust, especially pulleys and disc brake. Here everything seems in good shape. Interior. The steering wheel, seats and main condition. Look for any unusual wear and tear. Steering wheel, seats, any switches, any unusual condition could be caused by excessive use, which should indicate a relatively high mileage. For instance, while I was trying to open the hood, I found out that the lever is not connected to the hood anymore. The cable must be broken at some point. There's a problem also with power steering. All windows and sunroof. Now is the time to check if all windows are working properly. Open them up and close them down. Windshield wipers. Do not forget to check if windshield wipers show any malfunction. Test drive. Finally, if you can, you must take it for a test drive. I would suggest to drive it in a city roads until it heats up, then take it on the highway. Turn off the radio. I'm sure it will be on because the owner don't want you to listen to the car. So turn the radio off. Ask the owner to be quiet. You just want to focus. After going through that smart chart thoroughly, you really should begin to have an idea on the actual mileage of the car. So check it out at the very end of your investigation. If the shown number makes you uncomfortable, walk away or try and get the best deal as fairly possible. Meanwhile, while you're checking for mileage, check and see if any cluster lights are on. That would indicate needed maintenance. So, this was a Hummer H2 3003 for sale at an auction. Thank you for watching and shop carefully.